So I'm in the workshop with one of my heaters. It's my lash up heater for doing bits and bobs. I put a video up a while ago doing a step by step on how to swap out the glow plug and atomize if you need to. And one of the questions that came back was, did I have a step by step on how to swap out the motherboard? Well, I don't. But I've got to do a swap out motherboard on that one, so I'll make the step by step. And why am I swapping out the motherboard? Same reason everyone wants to swap out the motherboard. I want the controller with the rectangular controller with the 6 fan blade icons that you can change the temperature settings, sorry, the filmic settings, and it's got the timer on it. That particular heater only cost me 65 quid. But it came with a controller that only had 2 blades on it, or 0 blades when it wasn't turned on. I'm starting to see a few of those out in the wild actually, and if you've got one of those, at the end of this video there is a step-by-step on how to drive it if you're struggling. But what really annoyed me is they advertised it with the full 6-blader, so I had a little bit of a kick-off, and they gave me 30 quid refund compensation so I could buy the kit. And as I'm sure you know, if you don't, I'm about to tell you, the controllers are often paired to the motherboard, so you buy them in pairs. So you quite often see them sold as pairs. Some of them are interchangeable, like so I got a 6-blader in my camper van, and that swaps out quite readily with the old rotary controller, which I used to have. But if you've got a 3-bladed icon or a 2-bladed 0-blade icon controller, you need to get a motherboard to go with it if you want to put the 6-blader in there. Anyway, but it's very easy to do, and we'll do a step by step, and let's get into it. Right, so the first job is we've got to get the case off. Very, very easy. First of all, unscrew the grill that's over the end port. That's where the ambient air from the cab gets brought in. Then this top half, and in this case it's grey, just pulls out like that. And there's your motherboard. Okay, that's the main body of the heater. These are basically all the same on all different heaters. They're a copy of the D2 and D4, and I would say they're getting better over the years. The quality of the casting is better than the one I paid twice the money for 7 years ago, that's for sure, on this one. And that's your motherboard, which we're going to swap out. Now these do vary. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Now you see you've got various things plugged in there. This in fact is the temperature sensor for the body. That there is to drive the fan. And on the other side, you can't see it on this one, but you've got the glow plug, and you've also got power going to that. However, look, the one we're going to put on has only got 3 plugs. The power is hardwired in, and this will get swapped out in any case. This will get swapped out in any case, so you haven't got to worry about that too much. But so the first job then is to take off the old motherboard. Undo that fastener there. They vary on different heaters. On this one it's a torqued fitting, so we want to get that one out. Put that aside not to lose it. And then you see that plastic clip thing there, just squeeze the 2 bits together, and then that will just unclip like so. Alright, now undo your plugs. You just squeeze on the bottom tag. I'm sure you've seen these all before. Careful not to pull on the wires. There's the fan coming out. On this side, trust me, that's the glow plug just come out, and this is the power coming out, which won't be an issue on the new one. The whole harness can then just lift out. You can see that grommet there. You can probably just about see that slot on this side, and your new motherboard will have a corresponding. Okay, and then we need to put the plugs in first. Now, you can get a translation tool, but what I'll do is I'll tell you what these are. Okay, right, now all we need to do is plug our various bits and bobs into the new motherboard. Now, can I do this without obscuring the camera? Right, so first of all, this is the glow plug on mine, and there's the glow plug connector there, so that just goes in like that. Let's see if we can do it. You might have seen when I'd done the translation, it was bent. Yep, she's in. Okay, that's the fan speed control, so let's get that one in. Like that. And that there is the body temperature sensor. Now that's interesting. On this one, on my old one, it has a 3 female plug, but only 2 of them are being used. And on this one, it's got a male, only 2 pins. So I just got to make sure I get that in the right place, and it goes in fine. Okay, they're all plugged in now. Now you can see there's a slot there. That rubber bung has to go in there. So it's a good idea to pass that thick cable underneath the motherboard and get that in position first, like so. You can't see it now because the motherboard's blocking it. Tuck that down, and then what you can do is to clip the motherboard in place. Click through that spring clipping there, and then the faster can go back in. The torques on this one. Oop, switch it to do up. Sorry. There you go. I don't mind to do that without obscuring too much of the camera. But now that's all good. We can make sure the wires are tucked in, and put the case back on, which is in reverse order, and then we can think about the controller. Right then, next job is to sort out the controller. Now, depending on what you've replaced, you may be able to just plug in your controller into the harness and you're good to go if you've got that sort of fitting. Okay, now the original maligned 3-bladed controller, a lot of those had those sort of fittings. What I'm replacing has not. It's got a crappy little plug like that, only it's on the harness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop and temporarily use Wagos to rejoin them together. You know, it's up to you how you do that. If it's a permanent installation, you could just permanently solder them and or use solder sleeves and make it a permanent fixture. On mine, I need to be able to sort of take it apart because I mess around with this sort of stuff. So I'm going to do a bit of a bodge. I'm going to cut and Wago it together. Okay, so if you're doing a cut and shut job, you'll see you've got 3 wires on the controller. Red and black, that's just your power, and blue is the data. That's the data, and you'll find it's the same on the harness as well. They always match on all the different models. I've out of the 3 heaters I've had, they've always matched. Right, so we've got the workshop lash up heater ready to go. Let's try it out. Let's zoom in on that new controller. There we go. All right. Put in the fuse and let's see what happens. Oh, and she's lit up. That's a good sign. Let me just whiz through the settings, make sure all's good. Yeah, looking good. Okay, let's turn her on. On. Oh, now it's going to be noisy because I haven't got any exhaust on and any air intake. Don't try this at home, children. I'm just going to open the door. But already I can see it's doing its right thing here. Glow plug is alive. Those lovely 6 blades are spinning around. I think all is good, but let's just make sure it does fire up. I'm going to time lapse this so you haven't got to watch paint dry. She's got to be firing any moment now. That glow plug has got to be doing its job. Here we go. It's like a jet taking off. I've got all the doors open so I don't gas myself. Hope the neighbours don't mind. There, glow plug's off. Right, she's up to temperature, looking good. I'm going to let that run for a couple of minutes and then I'm going to do a shutdown. But it's very easy to change these controllers and they're cheap as chips. I think that kit cost me about 25 quid with the controller and the motherboard combined. And that was from somewhere in the UK, a bit cheaper if you bring it in from China.